And hope all ye who enter. We wonder if the gates of heaven are emblazoned with the same words. It's time to stop hoping and start knowing. You're listening to radio that has all the answers. Marshall Sylver Radio.
Yes, we have been getting some amazing guests on the show, and I'm really excited about our guest today. David Avrin, the visibility coach, is known internationally as a marketer and a brander. He's a best-selling author. He shows business leaders and entrepreneurs how to help their businesses stand apart from the competition by crafting and promoting a unique, memorable, marketable brand. He's got over 2 decades on the front lines of marketing, PR, and strategic branding. David Avrin has earned a legion of fans around the world for his creative and actionable marketing insights that he's about to share with you on the show. Speaking to audiences across North America and as far away as Singapore, Bangkok, Melbourne, Buenos Aires, London, David has helped thousands of business owners and professionals refine their message, build their brands, and promote the unique aspects of their businesses, products, and expertise to consumers and clients around the world. As I mentioned, he is author of the #1 Amazon marketing bestseller, It's Not Who You Know, It's Who Knows You. David has appeared in hundreds of broadcast interviews and thousands of print publications. David Avrin, welcome to the show. Glad you're with us.
I am thrilled to be here, Marshall. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Where are you calling from?
I am calling from my home office here in Castle Rock, Colorado. It's a Denver suburb just south of town. And, of course, you know, like you, I mean, my business allows me some great freedom, and so I get to be home with my kids when I'm not on an airplane and traveling and speaking across the country and around the world.
Nothing better. Tell me, why do you think people don't really understand branding? And tell me some more about branding and why that's so much more important these days than just marketing.
You know, isn't it interesting that branding has become the real buzzword in the industry? Now nobody does marketing per se or public relations or advertising. Even the graphic designers, it's all about your brand identity. And it's kind of funny because I talk to a lot of clients and prospective clients, and they're trying to understand because they hear it from so many different angles. And the reality is, it is really more of a catch-all term than anything else. The elements that go into a visceral, marketable, powerful brand identity were as true 100 years ago as they will be 100 years from now. It's just sort of a catch-all term. Of course, there's new tactics, there's social media, there's some other wonderful opportunities, but branding is nothing more than helping your audience to think about you the way you want to be thought of. And when you think of sort of the derivation of the term, instead of this hot branding iron searing an image into the backside of livestock, branding, as we talk about it in our context, is really about searing an image into somebody's brain. How do we get them to think about us the way we want to be thought of, from a reputation perspective, the imagery, the logos, the experiences that we have? It's really sort of that broad catch-all term. But when we talk about branding, to answer your question, I think it's so much more important today because the competitive landscape is fierce. There are so many, for those who are listening in right now, there are thousands of people likely who do what you do, or at least profess to solve the same problem in some other way. So the question is, how do you stand out? How do you raise your profile when there are so many competing for that time and attention and the dollars from prospects?
And what do you think it is? Because I absolutely agree, which is why I was excited about having you on the show today, that today it's like the brand is almost worth more than the substance. You take somebody like a Donald Trump, who's king of the branders. Here's a guy who has had multiple failures in business, multiple failures in real estate projects, and yet the one thing that stands above everything else that hasn't worked for him is his brand has worked remarkably well. You take a gal, you take a gal like Kim Kardashian or Paris Hilton, who, in my humble opinion, have done nothing. You take kids like Snooki and Situation, who've not only done nothing, they've behaved badly, and they're making millions and millions of dollars off their brand. Why is it that the population sees brand beyond substance right now? And is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? And how can we capitalize on it as business owners and talent?
Yeah, great question. I mean, the reality is we can't confuse fame with notoriety. And we're in a very interesting time, especially in America. where fame seems to trump almost anything, with no pun intended. It is fame for the sake of fame. And now with everybody with their own YouTube channels and Facebook, is they're looking for their moment in the spotlight. Unfortunately, what we've seen is this growing trend of fame for the sake of fame, and it comes from outrageous behavior. But if we really look at it in terms of the whole, it's very few cases, very few individuals, and there's normally a reason for it. There's very few Donald Trumps, there's very few Kim Kardashians, and part of it is look, part of it is sort of that fame machine. And those who attempt to achieve that through the same kinds of outrageous behaviors, by and large, are going to fail. Those who create a strong reputation, a strong visibility in the marketplace that is supported by a strong substance, people who are really good at what they do. But I'll tell you, expertise is a dime a dozen. I mean, there's millions of people who are very smart and very good at what they do. But what is it about some individuals? What is it about some businesses that seem to stand out, that seem to stand apart? And I would submit, for those who have sort of a lasting impact and have real sustainability in the marketplace, have the substance behind them. I was probably 35 years old before I recognized what that old fable, the emperor's new clothes, actually meant. You know, we grew up hearing all these fables, and you wonder what it means. Ultimately, you can tell people all you want. Ultimately, you better live up to it, or they're going to figure it out. The marketplace will figure that out, and you'll fall by the wayside. But those who are really committed to being great at what they do, and then find a creative way to promote what they do, to stand out, to stand apart, and highlight true differentiators in their... And here's the good news. There's a lot of ways to do this right. It can be a higher personal profile. It can be something a little more, a great character, personally or through logos or slogans. It can be a proprietary process or technology. It can be a signature product that no one else has come up with, or you were first to market. There's a lot of ways to do it right. The only way to do it wrong, Marshall, is to be boring, is to blend in. What the mistake I see time and time again for entrepreneurs and people in business is what they tout is their expertise. They tout the quality of their products and service, and the reality is that's the entry fee. You better be good at what you do, or don't even go into business.
Sure.
Commit to being good. I listened to the earlier part of your show when you were talking about the commitment to whether it's exercising or education or being very good at what you do. If you are falling short, you need to have the resilience and the wherewithal and the commitment to getting better.
Sure. We got to take a break right now. We got to take a break right now. What do you consider the top 3 brands in the world?
Let's talk about it after the break.
You got it. Coming up after the break also, what are the biggest marketing mistakes businesses can make, and how important is social media to your business? All good stuff to help you build a better brand, greater visibility so you're not invisible. Here with David Avrin, we are very excited. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. Title of his book, I'm Marshall Sylver. Cash to give away, great information to give away, and so much more, all coming up right here on the Marshall Sylver Show on the Get Rich Radio Network, where we pay you to listen, we pay you to refer people, and, yeah, $1,000 cash every hour. Am I insane? No, just a great brand. Stay where you are. We'll be right back after these messages.